What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham Adversaries? It's your boy Trey of the Bat Channel. Man, apparently the apple does not fall too far from the tree when it comes to Warner Brothers Pictures and Warner Brothers Television. Earlier today, Ruby Rose, the former Batwoman star who played Kate Kane before she left back in May of 2020 due to injuries and health, she had come out with an Instagram story, and a pretty lengthy Instagram story about her experience, about what really went down on the Batwoman set and her departure. Dear CW, to Caroline Dries, who is the showrunner of the CW Batwoman show, Berlanti Productions of Greg Berlanti and Sarah Schechter, she says, "Enough is enough. I am going to tell the whole world what really happened on that set. I will come for you so what happened to me never happens to another person again, and so I can finally take back my life in the truth. Shame on you." She says, "Peter Roth, you are first up. You are chapter 1. Not sure if you left after getting promoted to the highest position because you just couldn't stop making young women steam your pants around your crotch while you were still wearing said pants, or if you left after putting a private investigation on me who you fired as soon as the report didn't fit your narrative. Either way, when it comes to you, there's already an army waiting for you." Oh dear, man. She goes on. She showed some videos about like her injuries, and she said, cue to 3 weeks later after this video from when she was in the hospital. "It's worse than abnormal. This was diagnosed years ago on set, but if I got on X-ray, we would have make our day. I have documented this for years. On top of that, I have enough documentation to make an hour documentary. Pray tell, what else would you like me to share? The broken neck or the broken rib split in two and the tumor?" Sounds like she went through a crap ton of injuries. Anyways, after another video, she said, "To everyone who said I was stiff on Batwoman, imagine going back to work 10 days after, 10 days, or the whole crew and cast would be fired and I'd let everyone down because Peter Roth said he would recast and I just lost the studio millions by getting injured on his set. That is, be the one who cost so many people their jobs instead of spending half a day to rewrite me out for a few weeks to heal. Imagine taking a huge pay cut to play a passion project and being so excited about Comic-Con and then being told they would not adjust the schedule so I could attend, but then saying we won't announce it, you have to, and me putting my foot down and saying why must I be the face of this, only to be told if I didn't do this video they would be silent and people would turn up to find out on the day I wasn't there. I folded, I wanted to do what it took, but then being told cover your scar, we don't want to see that scar on the video, and you wonder why I posted my surgery video." And then she goes through this really like long story that I figured when it comes to these kinds of things, I feel like it's best to read word for word what this person said so I don't, misword her, just say what it is. So she says, "In closing, please to my dear fans, stop asking if I will return to that awful show. I wouldn't return for any amount of money, nor if a gun were to my head. Nor did I quit. I do not quit. They ruined Kate Kane and they destroyed Batwoman, not me. I followed orders, and if I wanted to stay, I was going to have to sign my rights away. Any threats, any bullying tactics, or blackmail will not make me stand down. A crew member got third-degree burns over his whole body, and we were given no therapy after witnessing his skin fall off his face, but I was the only one who sent him flowers and cards, and then we were told we had to do a sex scene without a minute to process. We lost 2 stunt doubles. I got cut in the face so close to my eye in a stunt I could have been blind. A woman was left quadriplegic, and they tried to blame it on her being on her phone, so much so CW didn't even help her to start with because they needed to investigate, so she had to do a GoFundMe. She's a PA. They work via phones. Her accident occurred because our show refused to shut down when everyone else did because of COVID. And now she goes into Caroline Dries has no heart and wanted us to finish the season throughout the pandemic. And I told her it was a bad idea. I told her everyone was too distracted, constantly checking COVID updates, checking on friends, and seeing Riverdale. The Flash and Supergirl shut down already. I felt something bad would happen, and Caroline Dries maybe visited the set 4 times in a year. Unheard of. But in those 4 to 5 visits, she decided she could tell me she knew my injury happened on set, so I should comply with the PI. Yet later denied it entirely and said it happened during yoga. I don't do yoga. And now someone will never walk again. We shut down the next day, not because she almost killed someone, but the government pulled it. Also, I fought people on set. Yes, not because I wanted to, but because I wanted safety. Ask anyone in hair and makeup what I did for them after 2 were hospitalized. The only people who came out and spoke on Degré who talk about unprofessional. Called my agent after my exit to find a way to leave, to which she replied, break your neck, I guess, yet slammed me in the press. I have never raised my voice on a set, never have Degré hurt a female stunt double. He yelled like a little bitch at women and was a nightmare. He left when he wanted and arrived when he wanted. He abused women, and in turn, as a lead of a show, I sent an email asking for a no yelling policy. They declined. I was late one time because I was in hospital. Whoever does this stupid leaks, I'm finding out who, but it's Cameras, who after I left hospital said, yeah, well, maybe if people were not late, we would make our days. A egomaniac kid who worked 1 day a week had the audacity, or the stunt department who were furious even though I never blamed them. But I went on fallen and spoke of my injury and didn't play the game. Aside from them, I was loved and loved my crew. And they wouldn't drive me to work and knew I couldn't legally drive after surgery, so they said, get a taxi.
What is going on? And where's Andy? And what is going on?
This is just kind of like an insane story, man. I just want to say one last thing, because no doubt I won't get another chance, nor do I want to keep talking about it because it is so deeply hard to. It's time for me to take my life back and to finally breathe again after all these years. Also, this has greatly been handed over to the appropriate people now. I did not choose now to come out and speak because of any of the numbers of reasons people will and have wanted to guess. It's much more complicated than that, nor is it because work has dried up. I have declined more films this year than in my whole career. If you look just under the surface, you will see every film I've done, announced and unannounced, are the same small trusted group of people because I have been too terrified to work with anyone else ever again after that experience. Lionsgate, Sony, BuzzFeed, thank you, and the producers of The Doorman, thank you. Which just briefly why I would exclusively work with some of the same company of individuals as the stunt team of Batwoman keep telling people was where I secretly got injured and faked it later. The injury was recorded on the set of Batwoman and filed as a workplace injury the same day, months prior to The Doorman. And listen, maybe part of the timing was after being attached to Warner Brothers' Meg the past 3 years and having developed Jax from scratch with John, a character and IP and franchise I love so much, having the fans constantly ask when we start shooting, as they constantly posted pictures of Jax, only to be told I was cut a month ago. Hence why I was growing my hair out for Jax and then chopped it with no explanation. People forget Meg was the #1 film in the world when I joined Batwoman. I was not in a career lull. I speak now because I understand my privilege, but I am not ScarJo. She's talking about Scarlett Johansson recently with the whole Disney Marvel issue from doing Disney Plus with Black Widow. I do not have Scarlett type money, power, or influence, and sadly I also don't have a team like her who cared enough to be afraid. I also guess I don't have the superpower strength she must have had to do what she did. But I am someone who has always tried to do the right thing, and she inspired me. So did the cast of Jagged Little Pill on Broadway, who chose to live their truths. Then IATSC finally got its moment. If I don't say something, then what am I really saying? This isn't just for me. This could possibly end my acting career, but it was already ended and when I could no longer open up a script without a panic attack. I also had to look at all people responsible and who contributed to this, myself included. Why didn't I stand up for myself? Why didn't I sue? Why didn't I get a lawyer? Why didn't I fight? I was tired. I might look tough, play tough characters, but I'm very human and very sensitive and do not like conflict. I was also afraid, deeply afraid. Her final words are, and say this now because this isn't a crazy, out of this world freak incident, nor is it even the half of it. I'm speaking because IATSC and the previously mentioned people reminded me that nothing will change if nothing changes, and people out there are even more scared than I, have less resources than I, and need to know they are not alone. Our industry needs a lot of work. It needs to change dramatically, and people deserve to be less afraid. And maybe, just maybe, aside from healing me, it might make a small change for someone else. Thank you for the support, but I'm in the woods right now, literally, not figuratively, and I will not be on my phone. Please also do try to leave Javisha, who's the new Batwoman currently, and other people that I didn't name out of this. She deserves better, and some of the people I have been told are getting attacked are my allies, not my enemies. Just because some people can't be public about their support doesn't mean it's not there. So, some big allegations, right, that she's throwing at Warner Brothers Television. We've heard a lot of this kind of the similar stuff with Ray Fisher, right? And even Gal Gadot recently said in an interview, she kind of went a little more into what happened with her and Josh Whedon. And she had said, like, what he said to her was, like, just disgusting. And she was like, like, we're not going to play this game. And just kind of knew that if he was comfortable saying, you know, the demoralizing thing that he did to her, then he's doing it to other people, like Ray Fisher, who is still waiting on Walter Hamada, who is, you know, messed with the, you know, investigation of what happened in that 2017 Justice League. So you're starting to see a pattern overall with this Warner Brothers company, and it's not good. But of course, Warner Brothers, leave it to them to quickly have a response. They must have known it was coming, because here's what they had to say. Warner Brothers Television says, despite the revisionist history that Ruby Rose is now sharing online aimed at the producers, the cast and crew, the network and the studio, the truth is that Warner Brothers Television had decided not to exercise its option to engage Ruby for season 2 of Batwoman based on multiple complaints about workplace behavior that were extensively reviewed and handled privately out of respect for all concerned. And in a separate statement, also released by co-star DeRay Scott, who was also on Batwoman, said, I absolutely and completely refute the defamatory and damaging claims made against me by her. They are entirely made up and never happened. So, clearly they were ready to go and must have known that she was about to come out with these stories, because it was pretty quick and in a Warner Brothers fashion, just like they did with Ray Fisher when Ray Fisher was starting to come out with his allegations against John Berg and Jeff Johns and Josh Whedon. They came out with that phony story that Jason Momoa was going to be doing a Frosty the Snowman movie with Jeff Johns, which Jason Momoa came out right after and said, that's not freaking happening. You're doing that to try to say, look over here, look at this, don't pay attention to this. Warner Brothers was like dropping a whole bunch of stuff today that had nothing to do with this, other than, you know, their statement. They announced, you know, DC Fandom got triple times the views it got last year, which seems interesting. I was watching DC Fandom and I saw the views live. It never went over like 60,000, I think, or 70,000. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, which didn't seem like it was as huge as other seasons. As the year prior. So some crazy stuff. Who knows what's really going on? To me, I'm not going to side with either group, whether it was, you know, if Ruby's telling the truth, if CW Television's telling the truth. All I can say is from, you know, fact, fiction, and perception right now is showing a constant theme with what Warner Brothers Pictures is doing, what Warner Brothers Television is now doing, and you've kind of seen some of the other cast members from other CW shows kind of speak out on some stuff. Hell, even the guy who was playing Lex Luthor in the Supergirl show has been liking tweets that say boycott Warner Brothers. I mean, that's kind of interesting too when you think about it. So, very interesting situation going on that hopefully they actually do a third-party investigation that's not biased to either party, a fair investigation, and can come up with who did what happened exactly, and try to find, some justice in it, because Ray Fisher is still waiting on an apology from Walter Hamada. And the funny thing is, he'll be the last little nugget that I will say on this certain topic, because I always say I wasn't there, I don't know what happened, so therefore I can't really make a fair assessment of what happened other than perception, right? And perception says that, Ray Fisher, he had a lot of receipts and dates and times about what happened and when it happened. And Warner Brothers released a general statement, not really any details about what's going on. Ruby Rose comes out and does a very similar thing where she gives details, she gives video, she says exactly these certain things happened. Gives a little bit of a timeline. And all Warner Brothers does is just come out and says that didn't happen. No details about that, how it didn't happen, details and times of how she's lying, if she is, it's none of that. It's just, she's lying. And I have a problem with that when they say simply Jay, she's lying, and then throw out a whole bunch of information about other things that are going on for Warner Brothers that try to take people's eyes off of that situation. So accountability over entertainment, very interesting stuff. I don't know. Let us know in the comment section what you guys think of this whole situation. It's very interesting and kind of alarming that this toxic behavior from Warner Brothers has not only been seen in films, on set of films, but on set of the television. Who knows how far it stretches, but some changes maybe need to be made. Definitely a different type of work environment, because more and more people are starting to come out and feel comfortable in talking about their situation and their experience, particularly with Warner Brothers. And I think it says something, the fact that Christopher Nolan has left, Warner Brothers. He's been working with them for 15, 20 years almost. He's now working with Universal Studios. Zack Snyder is now working with Netflix. Patty Jenkins is moving on over to Disney. It says some stuff for sure. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification bell so you never miss an episode. I'm your host, Trey. And don't forget to tune in weekly. Same bat time, same bat channel.